Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from a June gloomy Friday morning. And here we go. Let's jump in the charts. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Gosh, I love those intros, man. That really gets my morning going. Needless to say, this is Bitcoin on a yearly time frame. Something I'm noticing right off the bat here. Now the year has not closed yet, but you can see volume is declining each and every year here, which I don't know how much weight to put on that. But what I think is a little bit more important, in fact, is the up and to the right trajectory and the fact that, well, this is one of the, I'd say, smallest years for gains so far. So in Bitcoin's history, year over year, over the last, since 2010, the oldest chart here, and I would be willing to bet these are up candles as well, or green candles, or bullish candles. Each and every year, Bitcoin has produced positive gains from January to December. And what the statistics show, the average increase over the last, since 2010, that would be 15 years of price history. The average increase is about 130% per year. That is the average increase. So what else I want to bring up? Shout out to Mr. Eric Crown for this tweet right here. And what he says here, this guy's the master of statistics. And he says, look, Bitcoin high of the year, month-on-month data for positive closing years. The high came in November or December 75% of the time. All positive closing years saw the high come in at a minimum of June. So if you think Bitcoin is going to close the year up, then it's best to bet on a high coming in the last 2 months of the year. So for May, the high of the year, so far, May is the high of the year for Bitcoin, which has never happened before during positive closing years. So essentially what he's saying here is, look, the all-time high for the year has never closed in May or before May, right? We don't hit the all-time high for the year or the high for the year before June. So best to bet on, the last quarter of the year, November, December, for those highs to come in. And just looking at this simply, you can see how tiny this little candle is. So is it more likely that with all the institutions here, BlackRock and Fidelity and the banks and all the new products, yesterday they just announced you can now buy a home and use your Bitcoin holdings as, part of your financial standing, part of your, they go kind of against your credit score, so to speak. So just bull news year over year. Well, that year was 150% up. That year was 120% up. How much are we up this year? Nothing. 14% for the year. So that being said, I think bulls, your hopium is still alive here. The hopium is still alive. Now let's get back to some of the more nitty gritty here and take a look starting out on the daily time frame. Actually, I think it's a good time to kind of go top down. 6-month candle is going to close in 3 days. That's an important candle. The 3-month is also going to close. I would say fairly bullish, although again, volume is very, very low. 2-month close also going to close. So a big closure, options expiration, I believe, is today as well. So, end of the month coming in 3 days. Monday is going to be the last day of the month. So, might as well make those significant changes, so to speak, and decide if you're bullish or bearish, right? 2-week is also not going to close. Okay, so the weekly is going to close as well. And I think it's a good time to look at the CMEs here. And gosh, if we could just take out the high, 110,000 today, that would be very nice. you know, so to speak, that looks like a pretty bullish candle to me. And you do have bearish divergence still playing out here, and a red dot, which is potentially coming here today. Now that's another 7 days away, so we won't get that 2-week closure until next Friday. Let's see, what do we got on the 2-week time frame? Again, not going to be closing here tonight, so another week there. And yeah, so you know, overall, I think the chances of more upside this year are you know, greatly increased based on those statistics. I just wanted to point that out. All right. Again, on the shorter term time frame, what did I want to bring up? Yes, going back to our lovely falling channel, we did say, hey, look, if we take out the high, okay, we have a chance for a daily trend reversal, which is very good because you don't want to fight that daily downtrend. However, you know, to me, this is looking more and more like, yet again, another lower high. You know, technically speaking, that is a high. That is going to be a high, as sloppy as it looks. Call it a complex high, call it a flat high, whatever you want to call it. It is a high. So there is the potential for a daily trend reversal lining up here. And, you know, as this thing begins to roll over, which it apparently is, and you do have those drives of bearish divergence coming back from, well, this high over here, this high right here. So those hidden drives of bearish divergence where basically we did get one higher high there. However, if you have a downward sloping trend line here, that is a high. And how would you confirm this as a local high today? Well, I'd say any kind of a closure. To me, I do it by this wick, but more conservative traders, a closure back below 106, call it 106,000, probably good enough for me. 105,813 as well. And simply looking for the next liquidity sweep. We could come as low. Gosh, I'm really lagging here. I'm 15 minutes late. I am 15 minutes late here, but here we go. The 618 coming in at 101,979 and the 786 right in the zone. So should we be targeting the middle of this wick, for the next higher low, next potential buying opportunity? And I'm just going to draw a little green box of peace and prosperity and death and despair here and see if I can't get us to, you know, just watch this for the next major. Gosh, I don't like that box. Let's make it a little bit more clear and crisp. Exactly getting those low. No, that's the wrong one. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to go, what box? There it is. Boom. The little box of peace and prosperity and death and despair. So the retracement area potentially looking for, once we lose the median of this channel, very likely going to make it into that box. And again, this is all unconfirmed as of yet. Excuse me while I get a sip of this Celsius powder. Certainly late for the gym today. Want to, yeah, just outline really what I'm looking at here and give us some, you know, likely outcomes for the weekend, tomorrow. We did hit the value area high, depending upon how you draw it. If you draw it from here, it still gives us the potential for more upside, but, you know, so I could see us range out here a little bit longer. Stock market is making what appears to be new all-time highs. We are, you know, in the throes of taking out the high for the year on NASDAQ. So very, very close to making new all-time highs on the NASDAQ. The dollar absolutely getting hammered. So why aren't my gold rocks going up? Well, gold is putting in a bit of a double top here. Again, maybe we should have waited for the weekly time frame. The daily tried to get it, right? We were looking at that as a double top and it failed. I still do believe we're coming down a minimum to 31.33 on this gold chart. Gold seems to be ready to turn around. Let's check out Bitcoin dominance. First temporary sign of weakness here. Maybe the altcoins get a chance to pick themselves up by their bootstraps today. Just thought I would take a look at that as well. And really this tether dominance, again, key factors in looking for important resistance flips here. And we want to see this flip to the downside. Apparently it is angled to the upside right now. And we're right in the middle of that channel, which I may or may not need. Is that even a channel? No, it's not. Those are horizontal lines. But it does look close enough to be a channel. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, this is, tether dominance is very important again, because when tether dominance is going up, well, money is going back into tether and out of your favorite coins. And when it is going down, well, vice versa. And where are we looking for the support and resistance flip here? This high right here. Okay, so that's what we would be looking for the reversal to occur on the daily time frame. We got flipped it, and we just popped our head through, fell back in, and we're looking for a rejection up here. That is best case scenario. We do not want to see tether dominance come back above 5.26%. That would be very bad and coincide with Bitcoin taking, well, that probably next leg down to the bottom side of the range, right? Once you hit the top side, it's back down to the bottom side. If we do confirm a red dot on the daily time frame, which again, the money flow and whatnot is starting to curve over. The 12-hour is about to print a red dot. The 4-hour is already got bearish divergence, and money flow is now curving to the downside. So can we get a potential bounce and, a swipe back up into this zone? Yes. Do I think we bust through at this moment? No. I don't think there's enough momentum in the market right now. I was telling my colleague here just the other day, look, what's most likely to happen here? What is most likely to happen? Swipe down, grab the liquidity, and then pounce it back up. Why? Well, there's low volume right now. We need more volume to come into the market. And what's the next catalyst that's most likely to be there to push Bitcoin higher? And I would say that would be a rate cut from the Fed. But why is the Fed going to cut rates when we are making new all-time highs? Well, inflation would have to come down significantly, and then he just want to have some FOMO and maximum employment and 2% inflation, maximum employment and price controls, whatever you want to call it. There's two Fed chairmen that are saying a rate cut could come as early as July. That would be bullish for Bitcoin. That could be the next catalyst to get us to our target, which is ultimately that 120-ish area again. And that would, if Bitcoin hits 120, call it 125 to 130, right? If Bitcoin does do that, and you could look at this as a bull flag too. And look, where do these flags like to go? Well, they like to go up. And that's 146. If we come back down, even if we come back down and, you take the measurement from the bottom of the flag pole, you'd be looking at, 150. And where would that put us on a 12-month time frame for the annual increase for the year? That only put us at 62%. And that'd be 122%, which is just a lot more likely. Needless to say, I wanted to bring this all to our attention as we're coming into some major closures. The 6-month, the 3-month, the monthly, all right around the corner. And Bitcoin is dancing around in this falling channel at the top of the range. It does look like, one more swipe lower is not out of the cards, so no need to FOMO in now. Sell high, buy low, and this is not financial advice. Make sure you do. Oh, yeah. Right now, funding rates are negative. We don't have time to look at it, but that's another thing saying, hey, short squeeze could get underway fairly quickly once it does, take another move to the upside. What else I want to bring up? Join us on BloFin. Deposit and receive 20% cash back There's a link in the description below. I hope you guys have a blessed and highly favored rest of your weekend and Friday, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.